Well, welcome back to the program. Well, with 3 days until the election, the opposition is making a last-ditch effort to secure your vote. The leader himself, Bill Shorten, joins us now this morning. Bill, good morning to you.
Good morning, Carl.
Nice to see you. Well, the polls say you can't win now. Is it over?
Not at all. Labor can win this election because we've got the best positive policies. We'll defend Medicare, we'll look after the schools, we'll make sure we prioritise Australian jobs.
What's your internal polling saying? Have you got a chance or zero?
Oh, Labor absolutely has a chance, full stop. We've got a chance because our issues are beginning to bite with the electorate.
Things like the Eddie Obeid conviction yesterday, does that help or hinder?
Well, people like Eddie Obeid are a disgrace to politics generally. I mean, no place for people like him in politics.
You took the PM to task at the press club yesterday over what you said was the biggest gaffe of the campaign. Let's have a look at that.
And today, Malcolm Turnbull's mask finally slipped. It will go down as the defining moment in this campaign. The gaffe that marked the end of the Prime Minister's credibility. He said, what political parties say they will support and oppose at one time is not necessarily what they will do. Tony Abbott famously told us, don't listen to what I say, get it in writing. Mr Turnbull simply said, don't bother. It's a lie.
OK, so you know now that he was actually talking about Labor at the time. Do you regret those comments?
Not at all. What he actually said is the other point I'd make is what political parties, plural, say they will support and oppose at one time is not ultimate. What he's saying is he wasn't just speaking about the Labor Party, he was outlining his political philosophy. He said what political parties. Now, this bloke is saying that he doesn't want to be held to the promises. That's why we don't believe him on defending Medicare.
He was talking about Labor, though.
No, he actually says what political parties say. He was outlining his political philosophy. This is a bloke who will say and do anything. And the problem is that puts in jeopardy the strength of our Medicare system and funding for schools, for example.
So you don't regret saying that was the biggest gaffe of the campaign?
Not at all. I think Mr Turnbull revealed the way he views the world. What he says before an election is merely a device in order to get power, and he doesn't feel bound to keep his promises.
OK, let's talk about economic credibility. It's been a big week with Brexit, obviously. Isn't getting the budget into surplus a measure of credibility?
Well, we're getting back to balance at the same time as the Liberals, but what we won't do is smash household budgets. What happened in Brexit is a whole lot of people who feel alienated and marginalised and forgotten by government said to government, we're not going the way you want us to do. The point about it is, in Australia, if we properly fund our schools, if we make sure that sick people can afford to see the doctor, I believe we're keeping the stability of our society together, unlike Mr Turnbull, whose ruthless cuts will smash the system.
How old were you when Labor last delivered a surplus?
I guess I was an adult.
Do you know how old you were?
I would have been in my 20s. But the point about that is, Carl, how long has it been since the Liberal Party delivered a surplus under this government? They came to government in 2013. They said they'd deliver surpluses. Now they're not guaranteeing to deliver a surplus until the 2020s.
You were 22. You're 49 now. It's an awful long time ago.
When was the last time you saw the Liberal Party deliver a surplus?
We just want to talk about the Labor, though.
Well, it's actually a two-horse race. And what we can say under our economic policies is that we will get to the surplus to balance the same time as they will. But we won't smash family payments for families who earn less than $100,000. We'll make sure that some of the parents who are watching this show today, that they can able to afford to go to work and pay for the childcare and get properly reimbursed.
You just finished uni.
Well, I have to say, remember Mr Abbott and Mr Turnbull said they would get to surplus? They haven't done it. They had 3 years to do it. They promised in 2013 they would, and again in 2016. They're now not promising to do it in the next term of government.
The last coalition surplus was certainly a shorter time ago than the last Labor.
Well, you and I both know that what Mr Howard had was a mining boom. The mining boom's eased, and what we've seen is this government doesn't have a plan for transition.
The point is, why would anyone believe either party? Why would anyone believe you that you will return the budget to surplus in 10 years?
Because we've made sensible changes. We're going to make multinationals pay their fair share. What we're not going to do is take $50 billion and give it to the largest companies in Australia. That is irresponsible, especially at a time when we need stability.
If you deliver the budget in 10 years to surplus, that'll be close to half a century before Labor has delivered a surplus in this country. How is that economically credible?
Carl, first of all, we're making the same promise that the Liberals are making. We are making the same promise. And we don't have to do it by wrecking Medicare, by not funding our schools. The big economic case for the Turnbull government is the same: vote for Malcolm Turnbull and large corporations will get $50 billion.
You will guarantee a surplus in 10 years?
We're saying we'll get to balance in 4.
Okay, but you'll guarantee a surplus in 10?
Well, that's every year we improve the bottom line of the budget. Absolutely, we stand by our costings.
A guarantee of a surplus in 10 years, yes or no?
We've said yes.
Okay, good. I know you've changed your mind on a plebiscite for gay marriage. Is the Medicare scare campaign not working for you?
Not at all. The issue here is that the government's got plans which are going to harm Medicare very quickly. They're going to freeze the GP rebates, which means that doctors can't offer bulk billing. They're going to increase the price of prescription medicine, and they're also going to get rid of bulk billing incentives for x-rays and blood tests. In terms of the plebiscite...
You've changed your mind on the plebiscite?
Well, no. What has happened is that since 2013... I think the community attitude's moved on. Secondly, we saw the experience in Ireland of the referendum in 2015, and we saw a lot of hateful things said in the no case. Why don't we just get Parliament to get on and do their job, rather than kicking it off to a $160 million taxpayer-funded...
You have changed your mind. These are the quotes in 2013, and you have said before, or tried to justify that. Personally speaking, this is what it says: I'm completely relaxed about having some form of plebiscite. You also said, in terms of a plebiscite, I would rather the people of Australia could make their view clear on this than leaving the issue up to 150 MPs. My question to you this morning is, and you have justified why you've changed your mind, why wait until 3 days out from an election? It's completely sus.
Not at all. I actually think it's crazy that we haven't got marriage equality now.
Why not bring it up before now? Why not bring it up 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago? Why have you decided 3 days out from an election to change your mind?
Carl, fair's fair. I put the legislation into Parliament last year, in July, to have marriage equality dealt with in the Parliament. Right. So, in fact, I've been consistent. What we're arguing now, community attitudes moved on. You and I know that. Most Australians are probably still confused why we're even arguing about the matter. And secondly, if you have a publicly funded opinion poll created by Tony Abbott, all you're going to do is let a whole lot of people say a whole lot of nasty things about each other when we can just do it ourselves.
I don't know why it took you so long. Why didn't you do it at the start of the campaign? You would have got more purchase with it.
Well, actually, we've been talking about it from last year.
OK.
Politics didn't start at the start of the campaign. We've been doing a fair bit of good work in opposition.
On the plebiscite, you're
years.
changing your mind. That was yesterday, though.
Not at all.
OK. I'm going to give you 30 seconds now to give you a final pitch to the Today Show viewers about why you should be the Prime Minister come Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Labor has positive plans for the future. We'll prioritise Australian jobs, apprenticeships and TAFE. We'll make sure that we fully fund our schools so that every child in every school, no matter what the circumstances, gets the best start in life. And, of course, we will defend Medicare and properly fund it so it is your Medicare card, not your credit card, that determines the level of health you get in this country.
Finally, and on a much lighter note, depending on how you view these things, Bert, the psychic crocodile in the Northern Territory News, has picked the winner of the election on Saturday night, and he has picked Malcolm Turnbull. Now, there is Bert there, the psychic croc, in a snap poll, the Northern Territory News says. How do you feel about that?
Well, I read the report and it said Bert's chosen Malcolm. There's an electorate called Bert in Western Australia. I thought we were ahead there. So when I found out it was just a very large, oversized crocodile, I felt quite relieved it wasn't the electors of Bert.
It's good to see you, and best of luck on Saturday.
Sure.
It's been a long campaign.
And
all
thanks
the
for the
best.
coverage. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Lisa.